Afternoon. Good to see you. And today I want to go live with one tool that can help you serve your clients better and create work life balance. It can be a win win. I'm Michelle Thompson with Resistant Vision Coaching and Consulting. Stay till the end so you know how to create this tool and how to deploy it when you need to do so. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about self care inventories. And why is this important? Because you have a lot going on in your life, right? And when you wake up to the time you go to bed, you may not have the space to be making a whole bunch of other decisions. And so the loving up on yourself that you need to do may not be very accessible unless you have a predetermined list of how to do that. So today I'm going to talk about self-care inventories. I like to think of this list as the sorts of things that your mother told you to do that we tend to go, poo poo, that's fine, I'm good, right? To get sleep. And there's a lot of research that shows number one, that we get less smart as we get less sleep. We don't want that. That we have slower reaction times and that we just don't problem solve as well. So let's start by talking about sleep. I think in our culture of busy, it actually gets to be a very sexy thing to talk about how busy we are. And it becomes a sexy thing to one up each other on how little sleep we got. I remember talking to somebody who said when she was doing mergers and acquisitions for a large law firm that it was not unusual for her to stay awake for 24 hours at a time. And so much of that was probably not necessary. But when you actually got the work that you needed to do, or while you were doing it, you may have made more mistakes. You may have been unable to focus, may have been unable to come to the solutions that you really wanted to have. And that's why sleep is such an important part of what self care needs to include. Now, this is your list, you do it your way, but I would actually put sleep at the very top of that agenda so that you can function with your clients and actually have the away time that you need. It is probably more important for you to get at least 6 hours of sleep than it is for you to get the thing done on an imaginary deadline. And deadlines are deadlines. I get that. And at the same time, if it's not an absolutely necessary deadline, opt for the sleep. You'll get it done more quickly, and you'll be able to have more room and time for yourself. Number two, who wants to be functioning as if they're legally drunk? Yeah, that's the that's where the rubber hits the road with making sure that you're resting enough, right? I'm just giving you three good reasons to have sleep on your self-care inventory is what I'm doing here, right? You you don't want to drive a car when you're feeling like you're legally drunk, and you don't want to be doing client matters when you're the equivalent of legally drunk. That's why it is critical that sleep becomes a priority and is part of that list. This may include naps. That's fine. Take a nap. Go under your desk and hide. I used to do that in law school. I would go under my desk and take naps during the day so that I could go back to my work somewhat refreshed, right? And three, honestly, I'm forgive me. There's something that's coming through here that I want to make sure I really nail. Do you really put yourself in a position where you like working with the people you're working with and like your work if you're exhausted? Let me tell you, I know for myself, I have a long list of things I hate when I'm tired that actually don't normally bother me, that normally just kind of roll off of my back. And it actually makes it more difficult to show up for clients. It makes it more difficult to show up for the people we love, and it makes it more difficult to show up for ourselves and to think well of ourselves in the way that we need to get the client work done. So these are really three solid reasons to make sure that sleep is at the top of your self-care inventory. And if there are other like but there are a lot of things, like, I would want you to create I would encourage you to create at least a 10-item self-care inventory, right? So you have many possibilities of what to go through, right? These are things that might support better sleep, it might support better focus, it might support better concentration, right? I just led a writing retreat last week, and one of the things that I surprised my clients with was a massage. Yeah, you're thinking, but they're trying to write. Like, why would you take 2 hours out of their day to do that? Because the following morning when they went to write, well, number one, they slept better that night. Everyone slept more deeply. And number two, they were much more focused in the morning, right? So massages are great things to put on your self-care list. Exercise, I know that I sleep terribly when I don't exercise. And I don't mean going for walks. I mean, I love to go for a walk, but that's not quite enough for me. I mean, I have to do either weightlifting or I'm an Ashtanga yoga practitioner, and that's a really tough version of yoga, but it's the kind of thing that really wears my body out. But it allows me, again, to come back with focus and it allows me to sleep better at night. Um, There are any number of things that one could actually put on a self-care inventory. Many of them might be on your pleasure inventory that I talked about on the last transmission. But it's actually worth taking out 5, 10 minutes of your day and just writing down the things that matter to you, right? For me, it's good food, it's exercise, meditation ends up on my self-care inventory. Journaling is on my self-care inventory. So I can actually track what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how it feels, and the results that I'm getting. Um, that way I can adjust what I need to do for myself to improve the results. Um, and of course, sleep is at the top of that list. So those are some possibilities. If this was useful to you, please let me know. I would love to hear it. And if you need help and thoughts about coming up with your very own self-care inventory, go ahead and write us at info@resistantvision.com. We would love to hear from you and to set up a conversation that we can have your self-care inventory put together in ways that actually make sense. With that said, if this was useful, go ahead and like the video, share it with other people so they can take advantage of it if you think that this would be helpful. And I probably won't see you next week because I will be at the Women's Bar Association of the State of New York convention. I'm looking forward to it, but you will see me soon. Take care. Have a good weekend. Oh, this is a Memorial Day weekend in 2024 when I'm recording this. And for those of you family members that you've lost in the military, I send my love to you, and I hope that we can all, as a country, come together to remember those people who have fought for us in the past. Blessings.